Man, oh man, if only as a loan originator, I could be connected to a website that has authority to the tune of, oh, I don't know, being around for nearly 20 years, maybe 15 years, something like that, that gets, I don't know, maybe 25,000 unique visitors every single month that are, I don't know, looking for a second opinion on a mortgage. Wow, if only I could find something like that. Well, you're in luck if that's what you're thinking. You've come to the right podcast because that's what we're going to talk about today here on the Loan Officer, the Mortgage, the Loan Officer, Mortgage Loan Officer podcast, Gizmos and Gadgets and more. I had to get the gizmos and gadgets in there, Scott, and it confused me. I was like, what am I again? Oh my goodness.
The important part is that they're here.
That's right. They're here at the Mortgage Loan Officer podcast, Gizmos and Gadgets and more, which is what we want to emphasize today on this particular episode of my podcast. Thank you for being here. We're powered by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. And I've got a great friend and a guest with me, Scott Shang. And he and I were recently hanging out at a big event. We were at the Freedom Club event in Nashville, Tennessee, November of 2022. There was over 300 people there, Scott. There was a lot of peeps.
It was amazing. It was a great group.
A lot of peeps. And Scott and I, we've known each other for a while. We've done some things together. We were part of the Mortgage Influencers group that you might have seen on Facebook and together. And we went out and had dinner one night. It was like, hey man, let's just go get something to eat, So I had a pork chop, he had a steak at Morton's, and we started talking about stuff. And he was telling me about this project that he has. I shouldn't even call it a project, Scott. This bona fide product that's really cool. It's the premise is what I set up at the beginning, guys. He's got this website that he's worked on for a long time that has quite a bit of SEO authority out there that originators can literally just jump on and kind of have ownership in a way, right? It kind of, right, Scott? I mean, that's kind of what it is. Yeah. Tell me about it. What's the name of the website? Tell me about it, and how loan officers can benefit from joining or becoming a part of the product.
Yeah. So it's called findmywayhome.com. And if you just type in Find My Way Home into Google, you're going to get a great Cream song. But findmywayhome.com. So when the market crashed, Frank, there was one thing that I knew for sure. Let me go a little bit before that. Like during the heyday and the crazy days, I had always helped. Like I got my start in mortgage by working the turndowns from other loan officers in my office. And I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a great salesperson. And I worked at a small company and they had a telemarketing room and the salespeople were all incentivized with how many calls you can take and how many applications you can take. And it just didn't fit me. I'm a guideline geek. I'm super nerdy. I like solving puzzles. And so I started going to all of the leads because back then it was paper, right? You had a paper 1003, you had a credit report, you had comps, and I would go back through those and I would look for opportunities.
So when you say go back through those, these are the files that the other phone callers, the phone grinders, right? If it wasn't an easy Slambozo deal for some reason, or I don't have time for it, I don't want to mess with this one, they'd say no, and that would go into boxes in this other room. Yep. And these are the files that you're talking about. You decided, let me go through these and see what's going on.
Yeah, literally legal size boxes, paper boxes, because you're printing everything on legal paper back then before it was paperless.
Right.
And there was all of the not interesteds. And plus, when I got into the market, this is early 2000s. So it was a refi boom and people were refinancing from 9.5 to 7.5. Mm-hmm. And they were absolutely out of their minds. And at that same time, home prices were increasing like pretty significantly. So if there wasn't enough equity or if the consumer just wasn't interested because they got a call center off of a title list, then they would write not interested, not qualified or whatever, throw it in this box and it would collect dust. So by the time I started originating, the turn down room was filled floor to ceiling with these boxes. And I just started going through them, rerunning comps, looking at the credit. Well, they've got credit cards that are maxed out. They're not that far away. They pay those off. They can probably fix their credit. So for the next 2 years, I proceeded to more than triple the production of any other loan officer in that office, just because just working off of their turn downs.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
it was crazy. It was really crazy. I was the only one in the office that paid for a processor out of my own pocket. So I immediately hired a who, right? Because I was just working deals and I was talking to the clients and I just handed them off.
Right.
And so that was what I was doing. So obviously, if you can be the top producer for 2 years, you should start your own mortgage company.
Of course. You've got everything figured out.
So that's exactly what I did. It's the E-Myth personified, right? I'm a good tactician.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do something I've never done before. Run a business. So that was about 2005. Right. And we kind of sense what's going on here. So when I did that, I was focusing, negams were going crazy, 80/20s were going crazy, but I was focusing on Fannie Mae's My Community mortgages, the 97s and 100s. Fannie Mae had 100% financing. I used the bond programs in California, where you don't get paid a lot, but I liked working with first-time buyers. And I did a lot of CRA stuff back then. Wells Fargo and B of A were in TPO. They were in wholesale, and I was a broker back then. And literally, if the consumer lived in a low to moderate income area, FDIC insured banks had to give them a below market rate. And it was about 0.5% below anything else. So I did those. And then by the end of 2007, I knew that, listen, when the market crashed, the first thing that I thought is, man, consumers are never going to want to talk to another loan officer ever. But there's this internet thing that seems to be getting traction. and I said, what I decided is I wanted to start publishing all of the stuff that I was doing. It was a super chaotic market. Anybody that lived through there, there's a lot of comparisons, and I did a post about this the other day. There's a lot of comparisons between this market in 2008. And the first thing everybody says is, this isn't 2008. Okay, the cause isn't the same, but what is the same is I had way more time than I had money and pipeline. So I saw every single night in the nightly news was how evil mortgage lenders are.
Gotcha.
And right, it was like they burned down the world because they were greedy and they did all this stuff. So I thought, I'm going to learn how to publish articles online. I went out and I learned WordPress. I took a class at a community college to learn HTML so I could fix what I was breaking. And I wrote 2 to 3 articles a week for 10 straight years. And I was I was interpreting the market. So in that particular market, the opportunity that was there was for home buyers. So yes, it was tragic for homeowners, but in California, homes were all of a sudden affordable because values had dropped about 60% in most areas. So I was focusing on these first-time buyer programs, the ones that were available, the grant programs. It perfectly positioned me for the $8,000 tax credit that first Bush 1 announced, or Bush 2 announced. And then Obama ended up making it not so you didn't have to pay it back. So I'm writing about all of these things. I'm writing about what's happening in the market. And I became an interpreter.
So you're doing all this on a WordPress blog, right?
Yes.
So you're writing.
I'm just writing.
Editorializing the news essentially, and putting it in a perspective for that a consumer can kind of comprehend this, et cetera. And through doing this, were you originating loans through this blog? Were you getting inquiry saying, hey, can you help me, or not yet? Where are we at this point? And what year is this?
Not yet. So I didn't close my very first loan that I could contribute to the blog for like 18 months.
That's not
And
bad.
and it was, yeah, no, I mean, but I didn't know what I was doing. My content was crappy. I didn't know how to write.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure it out, but I was getting feedback. I was getting a lot of people that were asking, but the market was really, really hairy and people were afraid of losing their
Yeah.
jobs.
What was the name of the
And
blog?
you're gonna laugh at this.
I can't wait to hear.
So
What was it?
back that it's California Teachers and Public Employees Home Loan Programs.com. Because
Easy one to remember. Yeah.
well, back then it was long tail was a thing,
It
and
was.
you wanted to stuff the URL because the URL was an important part of SEO,
Sure.
or so that was what I was told.
Gotcha.
And I literally just started writing about a program available to teachers that gave them a down payment assistance if they worked in a low to moderate income school district. And that's how I started. But I started getting a lot of responses and a lot of conversations, and people were really interested, and they were saying, I never knew that this was available. And so then I started keeping them in a database. And every time I would write an article, I would email that database, hey, here's a new article. And then I started to learn how to capture those inquiries and then nurture those inquiries over time, because nobody was doing anything in 2008. So it was still all collapsing around them. So middle of 2019, I closed my first loan, and then my
2019.
No, 2009. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
okay.
2009.
That's a long time. But
2009.
Bravo to you for your patience, man. Bravo for that. So
I always just say I wasn't smart enough to stop.
Yeah.
And then I ended up here today.
Okay. So I know. Keep going. Keep going. Let's keep going. Let's
so
see
then
where
the
we
next one and the next one, the next one,
Yeah.
and it kept building up. So
Okay.
in 2011, I started writing about how to buy after bankruptcy, foreclosure, and short sale, because I knew that was going to be a problem in the future.
Smart thinking.
We helped thousands of people over the next 5 or 6 years, and the traffic just went crazy. 2015, it was student loans. And so what I've learned to identify is to interpret the market and create content around guideline changes and market changes where every loan program was different. So Fannie Mae had a different guideline than Freddie Mac, from FHA, from VA, from USDA. So I would interpret those and kind of break them down and write specific articles about specific things. So it's all what we call long tail. So if somebody is trying to buy after bankruptcy using a Freddie Mac loan, my article would pop up, because I had one that said how to buy after bankruptcy using a Freddie Mac loan, how to buy after a short sale using a Freddie Mac loan. And so I had literally thousands. And so when I talk to people about creating content, I tell people every time you create a piece of content, you're cloning yourself. And ultimately, you're deploying an army of you out there referring business back to you. Because the thing that I discovered is that when you create content and you push it out there, the consumer does not reach out to you until they already know, like, and trust you, and they already know you have a solution for them. And there is no, what are your rates? There are no anything else. And what I found overwhelmingly is all of these consumers had been told no by another loan officer, told them that they couldn't qualify, or they did qualify, they got into escrow, and then it got kicked out of underwriting because they didn't put it together right. And so over the years, I just really learned, and our traffic kept building and building and building. And the other thing that happened out of this is there's no geofence on a website. Right.
It's national.
I was only licensed in California.
Right.
So I got these consumers from all over the country. So I started reaching out to my friends and saying, who do you know in this state? Who do you know in this state? And so I was just giving these loans to people all across the country for years. And then one day light bulb went off and I was like, there might be something here. Maybe I should sell these loans to people. Maybe I should sell these leads. And so I kind of tried to sell the leads for a while, and that went well. And then a few years ago, it just kind of struck me that all of this success that I'm seeing and the response that you get from these people, Frank, it's like you're helping people achieve the dream of home ownership after they've been told no. And they're so grateful, and they're invoking their, deities, and thank God somebody put this, and there should be more people in the world like you, because I never sold. It was only educating. And my call to action was always, if you have questions about qualifying for a mortgage, I'm here to help. And so all of the inquiries, so on my blog, most of that was comments, and I have thousands and thousands of comments, and I would answer every single one. And what started happening is people would send me emails and they would say, I just spent the last 2 hours reading all of the comments, and my situation is almost exactly the same, except this. And the except this was the equivalent of, I was wearing a blue shirt when it happened to me, and that person was wearing a pink shirt. Because at the end of the day, the guidelines are the guidelines. And I say this all the time. And a friend of mine told me this one time: there are not 10,000 questions about qualifying for a mortgage. There are 10 questions asked 10,000 ways.
Yeah.
And so I would write 10,000, I would write 150 articles, 10 articles about different angles of the same thing, the same thing, because at the end of the day, I'm addressing an individual's problem. So it kind of struck me, and I was like, I'm not special. I'm not the people. This isn't successful because of me. It's only because I'm publishing content. It's because when consumers are online and they get told no, they're going back online and they're typing in a little bit more detailed question because they know what wall they hit, and they're finding me because I can be found on Google. And that was the epiphany.
Okay. This is awesome. So now bring us to where we're at here today. Yeah. So through all this experience, all this learning, and then you had the epiphany, or the light bulb went on, man, maybe I can find a way to put this into a package somehow, and where other people can take advantage of it, right? I mean, you're in California, licensed in California, but there's people that need help all over the country. How to, and so bring us to the website, the new website, and then how do we participate in this?
Yep. So I spent about almost 2 years putting the tech stack together and figuring out how to turn it into a directory, because I wanted consumers to be able to see, because if you go out and you start blogging today and you post it on your website that nobody ever sees, you have no SEO, you have no juice. So my idea was, how can I let these consumers know that there's these loan officers out there that they can trust? And then the light went off and I said, well, those loan officers need to create content. And if they create that content, and if I publish it on Find My Way Home, all this traffic can find somebody in their state. And how do they know they can trust them? They can just watch their video. So it's all based off of video. So what I did is I set up essentially a remote video production service. So, and I created a membership program. So it's a flat fee. It's a monthly membership. And what we do is we help you. I basically ship you we ship out a studio in a box. It's a camera, it's all the lighting, it's all the tripods. And we have a software where I have a professional director that pops up on the computer, on the iPad. And all you do is tell them success stories about clients that you've helped. And we edit it up, we produce it, we publish it, we transcribe it, we publish it on Find My Way Home. It's surrounded by calls to action. It's connected to Bonzo. So your Calendly link's on there, your Bonzo number is on there. There's a form that goes into Bonzo on the blog post. And then that goes in and it automatically follows up on the lead for you. So my idea was, how can I make it so simple that people like me that have decades of experience and consumers don't know it can get out there? So all you literally have to do is in 1 hour a month, you can do about 4 videos, which is about 1 a week. So we transcribe it, publish it as a blog post, and we pixel it. So anytime anybody looks at that blog post, we're retargeting them with your profile from Find My Way Home.
So just so you know, guys, so if
really
you if you go to the website, you go Find My Way Home, right? And I love the way it's set up, Scott, because you just straight to the point. Is your question about buying or refinancing, right? Buying a home, refinancing, it's complicated. Those are my choices. So if I click it, then I basically get walked through a little kind of wizard, right? Where I'm letting whatever loan officer this goes to know my scenario, what I'm kind of looking for. And then it's basically grabbing this lead of this person who has been possibly turned down by another loan officer, something along those lines, who's looking for another opinion, a second opinion on what's going on. And then it's being routed to one of the originators that's in the website as a expert, as a mortgage expert near them, right? And so what you're saying is that if somebody wants, and again, so this website, though, tell me, like, this website gets what, like 25,000 unique visitors a month, something like that. Yes. And is this based on the content that they are creating, that you are professionally putting together for them? Or is this also based on this SEO for the site to get this much traffic? Is it also based on stuff that you're still doing on the site?
It's based on stuff that I'm still doing on the site. So a lot of the traffic is the stuff that I've been doing for 15 years, right?
Yeah. So that's stuff that you know works.
Of it.
Right. That's stuff that you've done that you know works. Yes. You're still doing that. So you're still bringing a lot of traffic. But when they get in there to solve their problem, and they say, eventually it comes to a point where, do you want us to help you solve your problem? Yes. And then one of those guys that are in there, one of those originators that are in there, one of the members of the website will be the recipient of that inquiry, where they can pursue that. And then not only that recipient information will drop into Bonzo and notify them and even drip on them, whatever the case may be. Pretty neat.
And there's an email that goes out monthly with all of their contacts, with all of the videos they did last month. And the other important thing I wanted to say is, because when we say the word leads, people cringe. Yeah. The most important part of this process is we ask an open-ended question of what is your main question or concern about qualifying for a mortgage? And we get books. We get details, credit scores, LTV. This was the problem. Here's how I got turned down. So you're not going into it cold. Hey, you just reached out. You're like, okay, I'm going to address these 10 points that you wrote this book to me.
Yeah, I have your story.
I have your entire story before I reach out to you. So
this is pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It is cool. And so, I mean, I didn't know how it was going to work. My whole goal was to not have to wait 18 months to get your first lead off of creating content. So our founding members have been on the network for about 18 months now. David Zai, who's a member of the Freedom Club and Carl's group, he has just gone hog wild. Just last month, he actually had 9 people that reached out directly off of his videos, off of his content that the consumer found on Find My Way Home. And he opened 3 of those on the first call.
Wow.
So and that's in addition to everything that's coming that people just say, hey, just match me with somebody.
How many members are in there right now?
Right now, we don't have very many. I think I have 17 right now.
So really just 17 members on a national site that's drawing people in, getting them to answer the questions, present their story, and having these. That's why I didn't want to say leads either. I didn't say leads. I said inquiries, right? I like
Second
that.
opinion.
Yeah, I like
Second
that better.
opinion.
Inquiries. I'm inquiring for my
Yeah.
second opinion because I think
Yeah.
this is not just your typical internet lead. This is somebody who's kind of been down the road, has been told no for some reason, and now is here saying, "Hey, man, is this legit? Like, is there nothing for me, or is there something for me?" It's not just an internet lead. It's an inquiry, is what it is. It's an inquiry. So
And not only is it that in this market, Frank, this is a market to build your database. There's just not that many loans to be had. So we're pulling people into the database. They already know you, you're having conversations with them, and then we're nurturing and dripping your content to them so that they continue, so that you're building trust with them. Because I think whoever has the biggest database and the most trust when this market shifts wins. And what I also know is when we encounter another one of these markets, pipeline's not going to dry up the way that it did, because you have this huge database of people that know, like, and trust you. It's not like you do a loan and then they forget about you and you don't ever talk to them. So you're constantly reminding them.
Okay, walk me through the process one more time. Let's slow down in a little more detail here. So I decide I want to become a member. Okay.
Yes.
You're going to send me a kit. And the purpose of the kit is to help me make a better looking video, right? Some lighting, right? Am I right? You get some lighting.
It's to set up a studio in your office that all you have to do is go and sit down in front of it.
Okay. So tripod, camera, lighting, this type of thing. Now let's talk a little bit more about this director thing. So, because I'm trying to figure out what's my participation. If I want to become a member, what work is it that I'm putting into this to make sure that I have some content, right? What do I have to do? So I get on this iPad. Was it like, what, I click a button?
An iPad mini.
An iPad?
No, it's an iPad. It's an iPad mini. You open up the app on the iPad mini. The director is there. You schedule a calendar.
When you say the director's there, what are you talking about? There's like a person there going, "Hi, I'm your director."
Yes.
There's a physical human being there.
Yes. It's like a Zoom call.
I'm going to help you.
And what you do is you start telling them stories about past clients. So we coach on how to, so the director will coach you on how to present your story. And usually it's the hook, right? How do I qualify for a loan if I'm a traveling nurse, right? And you say, this is a common problem. Unpack the problem. This is why this is a problem, because the guidelines are all different. A lot of loan officers are lazy. So let me tell you this story about this nurse that I helped. And then you just tell past client stories. I talked to this person. Most of us have years of past client stories of people that we've saved from the clutches of Quicken, right? And they came to us at the last minute, and we were able to save them from some other loan officer. The other cool thing about that is not only am I just making a Zoom call, but your emotional state when you start talking about these customers that you helped, you forget that there's a camera. You're just talking to the person, and you're talking to the director. And in the background, we're marking it all up. We're getting it ready and we're getting it done. We're going to take that. We're going to chop it all up. We're going to produce it, throw in the B-roll, and
it's going to be on the website. So when these inquirers come in and they find this content, it's there. I mean, the content's there for them to find, to discover.
It's already there, and we are posting it to your YouTube channel and helping you build up your YouTube channel.
So you're helping me in that regard as well. Yes. And do I do this once a month, basically?
You can do it once a day if you want. It's unlimited access.
Okay.
So David started doing it once a month. You can get four videos in 1 hour is about what it runs. And your videos are 3 to 5 minutes long. They're more longer. But like David now is doing 2 hours a week, and he's doing 5 to 7 videos every episode. There's no limit to how many. You have a Calendly link. You go on there, and what I recommend everybody does is at least pick the one day and the 1 hour, create a 2 hour time block on your calendar, so you can spend an hour thinking about what are the 3 topics I'm going to talk about, or the 4 topics, and then you do 1 hour of recording, and then you forget it. The next thing you know, you're answering phone calls from the ringless voicemail, text messages, and emails coming from Bonzo. That's the only other thing you need to do. That's the only other thing you need to do. But now you have this whole library of trust assets. You have all of these videos that you can chop up and make into shorts and reels and put out there on your social media. And
let me stop you there. You have all these videos that you can do this to. What if they're not good at doing that? So you're already going to chop them up and make little small things out of them. Smaller steps, right?
I'm working on the chopping up part. So that's a whole nother skill set. But what we are doing is I have a professional copywriter. We're doing the titles. We're creating thumbnails. We're writing the descriptions. All of that stuff is done for you. And all of your videos are in a Google folder. So what I recommend for especially our Freedom Club members or our mortgage marketing animals, hire a VA and give them this video and tell them I want 5 shorts out of it. Go through it and find the 5 shorts, chop it up, throw on the titles so that I can post it to my Instagram.
And that would be in addition to or on top of what you're already doing, which is quite a lot of stuff, right? I'm going to get these videos published on YouTube. I'm getting thumbnails made, all that kind of stuff. And they're going into Find My Way Home, which is where consumers are flocking to get second opinions, of which I'm going to get some of those inquiries through the system. So
and as a community, I am constantly posting content ideas. I'm like, here's a headline, here's how I would spin it, here's the resources, here's how you structure your story. So as a community, we are always sharing best practices, and I'm monitoring the traffic on the website. We have a professional SEO person that's also tracking keywords and internet searches, and I'm pushing that back into the community and saying, hey, you guys, this is a really hot topic. A great example of this is owner-occupied duplexes with Home Possible and FHA. Low down payment, rent out the other side.
Is that a real thing?
It's absolutely a real thing. 3% down with Home Possible, 3.5% down. You're using the rents to help you qualify.
Beautiful.
And also, and if you wanted to spin it, if somebody's paying half of your mortgage, is your interest rate really 7%, or is it now 3.5%? Right. So I'm constantly feeding the community with my 20 years of experience doing consumer direct content. Hey, you guys, here's a hot topic. Here's how you spin it. Now let's create videos like that. And if 1 or 2 or more people are creating it, now Find My Way Home is getting all of the traffic because we're an authority on that topic.
Right. Yeah. Oh, this is really, really neat, man. Okay. Well, let's get into the price, right? I know there's a lot of people. I think what you've done is you put something together that's, if you're an originator that isn't super savvy with video, but you have a little bit of experience with it and you're somewhat comfortable with it, this becomes a no-brainer, becomes really, really easy. I think it's also great if you're already a video person, right? I'm already into it. I already do video a lot. I know video is a good thing. Yeah. Obviously, this is a no-brainer. This is easy peasy. Would you say that this is a good product if I have like not much experience at all video wise? Is it still something that's applicable to me?
First of all, you'd have to show me somebody that doesn't do selfies and FaceTime with their family. Like True. Maybe they don't think that they have it. And what people aren't good with on video is deer in the headlights, looking at the camera, pretending like you're talking to somebody.
Yeah.
So yes, this is great for somebody who isn't comfortable on video, because it's not video, it's a Zoom call.
It's a Zoom call and you're talking to a director and you're answering a question. And so it's coming across very natural.
Yes.
So very, very cool. All right. So let's get into this. So there's only about 17. This is national. This is if you guys aren't picking this up, now's the time to probably get in on this, to get in on this website, right? To get in on this product. So, but this is what I would call a boutique product, right? This is boutique. This is a
This
this
is
is a this is a high-end product. This isn't your mass,
Yep.
we're going to get 75,000 originators on it. No, we're going to get a good number, but we're going to take very, very good care of the people that come into our system and make sure that it's
Yes.
a high quality boutique product is the best way I can say this. Very much so a boutique product. And so there's a setup fee and there's a monthly fee. What are those?
It's pretty simple. It's $2,500 a month. There's a $2,500 setup fee up front. That ships you the equipment, gets you all set up on the network, and then it's $2,500 a month. I have no contracts. You can cancel at any time. All of your content is yours. You own it. You have a Google Drive with all of your videos in it. And Frank, this is kind of funny. This goes back to me not being a salesperson. I won't let anybody come onto the network that's not willing to invest 12 months into this, because I want you to see the results of your content. Like, this isn't a lead generation scheme, but you are going to get connected with consumers that have questions about qualifying for a mortgage. But this grows exponentially over time as you produce more and more content and you get more of your clones out there. That people can find in Google searches and YouTube searches.
I mean, I get it, right? I'm a guy that gets it. And I think that there's a lot of people like me out there. I think there's a lot of people who are probably listening to this or maybe even watching it on YouTube who are going to say, I get it. I like it. This is a good thing to do. This is a good thing. This is one of the good things, because you're tapping into a website that's already consumer direct, already driving traffic in, has already got all that SEO authority. That's what it's like. That's
the
what I'm saying.
Tech stack is dialed.
Yeah, and I use the term. It's almost like ownership. It's kind of like I'm becoming an owner of it in a sense, because there's not that many people that are in there for good reason, right? And I am most definitely going to be getting inbound inquiries here. It certainly doesn't take too many inquiry conversions to more than make up the cost of being a part of it. So, but so for mortgage marketing animals, and we will verify if you're a mortgage marketing animal, we will verify it. Okay. You can't just use this code unless you are mortgage marketing animal, but it's MMA. So you use the code MMA. What is it? What are you going to do, Scott? You're going to take off $500 of the setup fee?
We're going to take $500 off of the setup fee.
Okay. Yeah. So $500 saved. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. So Scott, to get started they would simply go to Find My Way Home, and then must be a link there, join us or get started with us, or some sort of a button over there for them to push to reach out to you. Or do we reach out to you through email? How do we reach out? How do we get this going?
So I have a link, but I realized that this is a this is a podcast.
Right.
So but what we'll probably do is we'll put the link in the show notes. The URL is findmywayhome.com/LO expert. One word.
Okay, there you go. So if you do
LO expert.
One word, LO expert, one word. So findmywayhome.com/LO expert, and then they can inquire with you to become part of the system.
Yes. Okay. There's an option to buy. There's a free community, a content creator community that's on there that I encourage people to join. And that is my dialogue with all of our members. Just sharing content ideas, showing them how to use it. You can access that for free, but you have to do all the video and the posting and stuff yourself, or we have our done for you solution.
Okay. And guys, we'll put that link. If you're listening to this podcast on the Loan Officer Podcast Network through Mortgage Marketing Animals, there'll be a link down below somewhere.
Yes.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, we'll have that link in there as well. Don't forget, MMA gets you $500 off the setup fee. Scott Shang, this is a cool product, man. When we had dinner, I was like, what? Really? Seriously? And I thought we have to do a Gizmo and Gadget podcast on this, because it's just, I think what you're tapping into, guys, is Scott has put something together where you get to tap into all of the effort that he's put in over a decade or more right? To find a way to find consumers or have consumers find him who are in this unique situation that if you're, a lot of these consumers probably looking for a second chance just were with a dud loan officer that didn't want to take the time or, didn't know what they were doing or didn't realize there was a program that fits them perfectly, that kind of a thing. So just picking up the slack of a bunch of, loan officers that just didn't do their job quite correctly. You're just tapping into all of the wealth of Scott's experience in all this and his decade, or more, decade and a half of work that he's put in to get to this point. You can tap into it now and just reap the harvest of it. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty neat, Scott. Good job. Bravo.
Thank you.
I give you Frank Gray thumbs up on this one.
Yay.
I'll give you two thumbs up.
I've reached the pinnacle of my career.
That's right. You certainly have. You're going to want to definitely brag about that on Facebook. That's for sure. So, hey, any other way that they can reach you? Just they got a quick question for you or something like that. What's the best email to reach you at?
Scott@findmywayhome.com.
Okay.
Easiest way to find me. If they go to the LO Expert page, you scroll down to the footer, you can schedule a Zoom call with me. I'm happy to jump on a call with anybody and explain it a little bit further and show you how it works. I recognize this isn't an impulse buy and it's a commitment. And you want to be sure that, you understand it before you move into it. So,
right.
And I'm really easy to find. Scott Schang, Schang. You find me online. Pretty easy to find.
All right. Scott Schang, thank you so much for being here, my friend. Super appreciate it. So guys, do it, man. If you're in that position as an originator, I think you're going to probably be a little bit more experienced originator here. Someone who's, kind of got some stuff going on, who sees the value in this and understands that this is actually quite a bargain. This is the right product for you to at least explore in a little more depth with Scott, maybe on a Zoom call with him, so you can get a little more detail. He can show you around, but I think it's really, really cool. Very, very cool product. Scott Schang, everybody. Find My Way Home. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, man. Anytime, my friend. Anytime. You guys have a fabulous, fabulous week. We'll be back here next week. Don't forget to join us at Loan Officer Breakfast Club, loanofficerbreakfastclub.com. Free coaching on a live Zoom call with hundreds of originators every Monday through Thursday from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern time. All the time. We're always there, except over the Thanksgiving holiday where we'll be with our family. But usually we're there all the time. We'd love to see you there. You guys have a great one. Remember, Find My Way Home?
FindMyWayHome.com.
FindMyWayHome.com. There you go, guys.
/LO Expert.
There you go. You guys have a great one. We'll catch you here next week at the Mortgage Loan Officer Podcast, Gizmos, Gadgets, and more. I wish I could have said that at the beginning of this. So anyway, have a good one. See you guys next week. See you, Scott. Bye.